Welcome back to a brand new episode, the Chrismas episode of Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. If you're only listening to the audio, you may have heard sleigh bells on the opening music, huh? But if you're watching, not only did you hear sleigh bells, you're seeing Chrismas, because there's two jolly elves here on the screen. The third elf is, we suspect he may be jolly, but we're not sure yet.
He's in a union.
He's in a union. They're only allowed X number of hours per week to be jolly. So
I'm fixing at the moment.
It's the elves' strike in England.
That's why
I don't
I just
know
got
what
a green hat, but it doesn't look like an elf's hat.
Scab.
We should have had you put like a cotton ball on top, like a poof. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Welcome back to the welcome back to the show, kids. This is the Christmas episode. If you have been keeping track, then you know that we are on to season 2, episode 4 of the Ted Lasso show, and here on the Two Nations. It was Christmas during season 1, and we heard a reference to it, but we didn't get to see it. Well, guess what? In season 2, we got to see some Christmas, and I'm all about it. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a Christmas fiend. I can't help myself. It's who I am. It's what I do. Before we get rolling here today, kids, again, I'm Tom. What's up? Welcome to the show. Joined as always by Joe Higgens and Jay Luft. This is Two Nations Under Ted. Before we get cranking here today, thank you for following the show. We appreciate your support. Thanks for helping us out on social media. We ask you to continue to follow us. Help spread the word about the show at Two Nations Pod, as you can see down below, everywhere you can imagine. Be sure to follow us on all the socials. We're there on all the platforms, and you can join the Boink Studios Discord. Boink Studios is a production company that handles the show you're watching and listening to now, as well as Tom Clark's Main Event and Tom Clark's 6M Podcast. So we do appreciate your business, and be sure to follow Dammit Vince and Hallmark of Greatness, as well as the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. We get all that out of the way to begin with. Then we can get on to some Christmas joy. Guys, how are we feeling going into this episode of the season? Joe, what's your thoughts right off the bat here?
This is a really weird episode because nothing really happens, but it's an excellent Christmas episode that it rounds up that spirit of Christmas, only the way that Ted Lasso can. Like, it is sad, but it's also incredibly joyous at the same time. And I'm not going to say I cried, because that's taken as a given now, but I did, quite a lot throughout it. Also contains some of my favorite jokes in this episode as well that I'd completely forgotten about until I watched it again. And I was like, there's a lot in this.
It's really good. Jay, this is, to Joe's point, more of an evergreen episode, no pun intended, where you can kind of watch this anytime you want to, and you can kind of be familiar with the show, but you don't necessarily have to be caught up. What did you think about episode 4 here?
I love it. There's, as Joe said, there's a lot of jokes that you kind of forget about because they come in at you thick and fast. And there's even like little sort of like comedic cues that they do where you don't notice it the first watch around, but then you see it the second time. It's like, that's brilliant. In particular, our favorite boy, Roy Kent.
So the whole B-plot, Roy Kent's B-plot, is possibly like my favorite thing he does, because it's just the most ludicrous thing that happens in Roy Kent's entire career that we see, because it's, well, when we get to it, but
it's
it
the
is
most
just
Roy thing as well, though.
But there's just bits in it where Roy just like is clearly having some sort of breakdown as well.
And plus, Phoebe comes into play here. She's fantastic. And again, these actors, we've gushed over this show, man, for an entire season. Now 4 episodes into season 2, but we love this show so much. I think it's one of those instances, guys, of the perfect cast for such a well-written show. And to be that fortunate in Hollywood, to get the planets lining up in just such an order that you managed to get this to happen. I mean, one wrong move, this show never gets off the ground. One wrong casting, and you come away from episodes going, it was okay. But God, dude, we come away from every episode like emotional or happy or sad, and it's like all the above. I love it.
It is one of those things that it is lightning in a jar.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Very true.
Well, let's get to it, kids. Let's get rolling with episode 4. Right out the gate. Can't wait for this one. We hope you're excited because we know we are. Season 2, episode 4 of Ted Lasso is called Carol of the Bells. Original air date August 13th, 2021. This episode directed by Declan Lowney. The story by Joe Keeley. And yes, there are 12 episodes in season 2. So we are a third of the way there. Can you believe it? Neither can I. And it's only episode 4, but we'll get there, kids. Be patient. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, we saw Rebecca spending some much-needed time reconnecting with Nora as Sam pushed back against the team's top sponsor for environmental crimes against his home country, while the AFC Richmond squad came to grips with the return of Jamie Tart. But help came in the form of Ted Lasso, who Ted unleashed in an effort to help bring unity to the team. I can't say Ted Lasso without thinking that is one of the smartest things I've ever heard for a plot device.
But it's the dumbest thing as well.
It is.
It's so good though. That I don't want to go into it again, but do you want to make it your girlfriend and kiss the little air hole?
Yeah.
It's just so dumb, but so brilliant. You can't even be angry without being just daft with it. It's
Yeah.
I think the only thing that would have made it work even more is if his glasses had been just a bit crooked. You know what I mean? Not like I'm drunk crooked, but just a bit out of whack to make him look like he's that much frazzled. Yes. Like he's that much more frazzled. I've tried it with my name, and Tom Clark doesn't work as Com Tlark at all. But Lay Juft works pretty good, I have to say.
Nah, you can't do it with mine because...
Yeah, I mean, Ho Jiggins kind of sounds...
Vowel sounding names is not good.
Ho Jiggins kind of sounds like a dirty limerick or something. I don't know what. Or like something you catch. I don't know. Did you hear about Dave? He got the Ho Jiggins. You better stay away from that guy.
Ho Jiggins is the cheapest lap dance you will ever have.
Yeah.
Just straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
I don't even show up with clothes on.
There's no point. Yeah, let's just get it over with.
Not so much a striptease, more of just gyration.
Walk in, thrust, and ask for money.
Oh, man, that's a whole episode by itself.
Coins, it's fine.
instead of stuffing bills, they're just throwing coins in. If you can catch it, whatever you catch, you get to keep. You know what I mean?
Throwing them violently.
Yeah, just make it a game. Make it a game. So this show, guys, this may be one of the best opens for any show in this series. I love it to death. As we know, it's Christmas on Ted Lasso, Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. I play it every holiday season, one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's playing, the team is exchanging presents. Isaac is freaking phenomenal. I mean, he's on the throne, he's dressed.
He's on his little throne that has appeared.
I love it so much, dude. We see it again later in the show too.
Oh yeah. But it's the first time we see it, and you just think, it's just a throwaway Christmas thing.
I was gonna say, isn't his barber's chair when he gives everyone the one haircut a year?
Yes.
Well done.
And also,
Well done. Yeah, we see him, but right out the gate, we see Colin opening his scarf. His reaction is great because he's like, "Scarf, cool." And you're like, uh-oh. Then he looks at Blubbercatch, did you make this? Blubbercatch is like, yeah, man. Nitten sues me. Sorry, I didn't know everyone was doing booze.
No, everyone was just doing booze. Like, they're just handing, like, the same bottle of booze around the dressing room, it would have been.
I love the way Colin just goes, it's okay. I can wrap my booze in it.
Colin is, like, actually happy to get this scarf. He's, like, happy to get this scarf.
Yeah, it's something someone's made for him. It shows
really nice
how...
Scarf.
It isn't, but it shows like they are a team, like they are thinking about each other, and it's like, I've made you a scarf, and I'm like, that's really nice.
It's really good. This is the spot where you see Isaac in the pseudo Santa outfit with the dark glasses and the big chair. He looks straight up like a rapper, like that. If you wore that on stage, that's awesome. He looks so great. He calls Danny to the chair. Yeah, he calls Danny to the chair and says, "May your secret Santa reveal himself." It's Jan Moss, of course, and he jumps up and someone yells, "More booze!" which is awesome. Yeah, I love this. As just as a side note, I love how this team has truly come together. Like they didn't really seem at odds in the first season, even when Ted got there. It's just they didn't have any direction. None of the guys were really bad except for Jamie, and the bit with Colin and Isaac was rough, but the rest of them were, hey, we're glad to be here. We're ready to play. Let's try to win. But man, to see how far they've come as a team.
I think it was the fact that they weren't playing as a team, whether they were playing as a series of individuals.
Yeah, they were in cliques, so there was no kind of like unity within a team. Like in football, a lot of managers will kind of like get the team to do everything together. It's not like an uncommon thing that like you only see in this show. Like they'll like get them to train together. They'll get them to go for like a meal together before the game or after the game or the night before the game. They'll get them to do like activities together to essentially just create that friendship and camaraderie.
Yeah. Team bonding. I like it.
Also, to point out the football thing as well.
Yeah.
This would be Christmas morning.
Yes.
They have to train on Christmas Day because they have a game on Boxing Day, so the 26th.
Right. Okay. Because they do address that here.
Oh yeah, they literally say what you're going to do with the rest of your Christmas day.
Right.
And I was like, do they think on Christmas? And then I looked it up, and because they have games on Boxing Day.
It's why a lot of European players don't like coming to play in England, because it's a strictly like English thing. Like a lot of European teams will take like a winter break from like the end of November or mid-November to like mid-January.
Huh.
Just because like a lot of countries are a bit more colder than here. Like Germany, for example, I remember seeing a game that was played in like January, and it was like -13, and the goalkeeper was having to like have a coach basically do exercises with him to keep him warm.
Wow.
While he wasn't like actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's one of those things. A lot of European clubs will have a winter break. England doesn't. England plays a game on Boxing Day, and that means the players have to train on Christmas morning, which is dedication. But
so here's a question. So during the cold months, are there heaters brought on the sidelines like they do in American football for the players?
A lot of grounds in the Premier League now will have like undersoil heating.
Oh, so nice.
It's to essentially keep the ground dry, or as dry as it can be, because if it's a downpour, it's not going to act fast enough to like dry out the grass. But also it keeps the players a bit warmer.
That's what I was thinking.
Obviously they're running around anyway, but undersoil heating absolutely helps.
I would say that's interesting. I didn't know that. So in Ted's office, the guys are exchanging gifts, and Nate has given Ted a photo of their first win. This foreshadowing, children, stabs you in the heart later. Okay. He gives him a photo, and Ted says, "Nate, is this a photo of you and me after our first win?" He says, "Yeah." And Ted says, "Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Look at that." Keeley reads the inscription, and it says, "Thank you for everything you've done for me. Signed, Nathan." And I caught this at the end because Beard looks at it and he goes, "What a lovely inscription that you wrote completely over my head, face, and body." Yeah. And that was basically a little throwaway gag like this show does, but Nate gives him a look as if to say, sorry. You know what I mean? Like not pissed off, but even that, I even went back and watched it a couple times to see, but again, guys, the seeds that are sown, the way he looks at Beard, not contempt, but just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can't pin it. I can't pin it what it was.
It's like self-indulgence.
I'd say self-indulgence and I don't need you anymore sort of thing. Right. It's literally a look that he just does. And it might have just been an acting choice, but knowing what we know about Nate, it comes across as you're beneath me now.
Well said.
Like I said, like Beard just laughs it off as like, you just written all over me. That's fine. But it's
shout out to Nick Muhammad, who is freaking great. Like we talk a lot about Nate the character, but Nate the character doesn't live without Nick Muhammad, and he's freaking awesome.
Yeah. They're
really,
all drinking.
really
they're all drinking whiskey in the office as well.
They are.
They've all got quite full tumblers of whiskey as well. Ted splashed it around. Possibly, but
didn't see any boiling water knocking about, so probably not.
No. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, we've had to come and do this, but there's no reason we can't have fun with it. I imagine the training was basically do some laps, we'll run a drill, right? Come on, we've all got places to be.
Right, yeah. It's cool because Higgins references the guys in the locker room. The guys are having fun, and Higgins says Secret Santa's a fun new tradition, as is half day for Christmas. Ted says we got to be responsible and save our legs for tomorrow's game. They toast to responsibility. And Beard says, if we get this Boxing Day win, we'll finally have more wins than losses. And the camera refocuses on the board behind him. Jay, what did you note on that board?
To be honest, I didn't really take much attention on it because it was just it was mainly like a tally chart, wasn't it? With the wins and losses they had and the draws.
I didn't think if there was anything specific that we should have known,
No, I mean, it's one of those things. Where they'd be in the table, you'd expect them to have had a lot more wins and draws than they did.
I literally think it was 2 wins, 2 losses, and a lot of draws.
Yeah. Given the fact we know, obviously, what where they finish at the end of the season, I'd expect to see a hell of a lot more wins there. It's not impossible, but it's extremely unlikely. But it essentially indicates that they've got to pretty much win every game now.
Yeah.
Between Christmas and the playoffs, or with the end of the season, which would put them near the playoffs or the top 2. In the championship, it's a bit different to. Well, it's different to a lot of promotion things. So instead of instead of just the top 3 teams getting promoted, because obviously the bottom 3 teams get relegated, it's the top 2 teams get automatic promotion, and then 3rd to 6th place will have playoffs. So essentially, I think it's 5 games. So a home tie and away tie. The winner of that then goes on to a final. It means that so Luton, who got promoted to the Premier League this season, they didn't finish 3rd. I think they may have actually finished 6th and just scraped into the playoffs, and then ended up winning the playoffs and getting promoted to the Premier League. So it adds a level of unpredictability to it. But also given what Higgins was talking about with finances in the last episode, it would actually be more beneficial for Richmond to qualify by winning the playoffs than it would by 1st or 2nd, because you actually get more money from the playoffs than you do from winning the championship or finishing 2nd. Only because of TV revenue, but because they televise all 5 games. So you'll get that, but then you'll also the payout works out more as well, because there's more risk for you for a team that's finished 6th, for example, going into the Premier League, than a team that's just dominated the league.
Interesting. So I talked. I was going to say I talked about foreshadowing earlier with Nate. We get more of that here. Ted asked Nate what he's doing for the holiday, and he says he's spending it with family that his dad is notoriously hard to buy for. Ted says, he's the kind of guy that just, he was one of those guys that likes to buy everything for himself. And Nate says, no, I wish. He just hates everything. And that's pretty dour. We do get a reference to Jane. I don't think we get enough Jane. I enjoy Jane with Beard live and in person, because
I know, but it's one of those things with Jane is that she has that kind of Captain Mannering's wife sort of thing of it's better that she exists off screen, that we don't see her, because then you can sort of just imagine what an absolute
Marison.
But there's all of these things that all these famous spouses that you don't see.
I do like when Jane does show up, everything just gets instantly more chaotic with
Yeah,
Beard.
it's like that fuse of just
He's frazzled.
nonsense gets lit.
Yeah.
We do also see when Higgins mentions the Secret Santa, it cuts to the locker room, like you can see through the window, and Will has just got this massive wedge of cash that everyone's thrown into for him, and he's just got a big smile on his face, which is just a lovely thing as well. Like
Very
they wouldn't
cool.
have done that for Nate, would they? Like when he was Kitman.
Well,
Toward the end, maybe, but not. Yeah.
I feel like he would have until he become a coach.
Hmm.
I don't reckon they did any of the Secret Santa stuff.
Oh no, they didn't. But I mean,
like when Nate went around with the box in the first season, like
oh yeah, they were horrible too.
Yeah, they were all horrible. Like but
until
they,
Roy kind of.
There's a couple of grand in there.
Everyone in the place.
Like,
oh yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah.
Beard says, "Go ahead."
No, it's just a really nice thumbs up from him. Like.
I love as well. Like it's one thing that you don't really notice the first time you see it, but obviously it plays into the scene. But you see Jamie just sort of pottering about in the background, getting closer to the door.
Yeah, we're gonna get to his spot in a second. I freaking love. I can't. Yeah, I don't want to rush this, but I want to get to Jamie get going. It's so freaking good, man. I had to go back and watch it. I went back and watched this episode like 3 times. Just because I love it so much. It might be one of my favorite episodes of the show, if I'm being honest. I really love it.
I think it's just like you said, it's an evergreen episode. Like
it is.
You could watch this with no prior knowledge, and it would still work as a tremendous thing. Knowing what what we know, it is even better. But if you showed this to someone who had never seen an episode of Ted Lasso, they'd laugh at the jokes in it because it's just a Christmas episode of a sitcom.
Sure. Yeah,
but there is more levels to it and stuff like that. But is this where Rebecca comes in?
Well, not quite, because Beard talks about what he and Jane are going to do. He says, we're going to a pagan Christmas ritual at Stonehenge. And Keeley says, I thought you two broke up. And he goes, we did. We got the tickets before we broke up, so we're going as friends. And Ted says, that's going to be, what about you, Keeley? And just completely changes the subject, which is awesome. Oh, so good. Keeley tells the plans of Sexy Christmas, and the whole room has to go, ooh. And she says, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a swinging. And they go, woo. They're all doing this and everything, popping off of it.
I love the fact that it's them and Keeley doing this, but I'd love it even more if Roy was in the room when they were doing it. Just because I think his reactions, like his reactions to like the Diamond Dogs later in the season, there's the general, I am far too old for this shit.
He would have just walked out, wouldn't he? Just been like,
been like,
no. It's actually a nice little, Sinatra. They're going to dress up and, sip martinis by the fire.
We're going to sing songs around the piano.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get sexy.
Then they have to do it again. Yeah. Rebecca comes in. This is so good. Rebecca comes in and says, oh, you guys are all talking about a sexy Christmas. And she already knows.
She knows. Like, this has been approved. Like, they've talked about she's planned this with Rebecca.
Probably her idea.
Possibly, yes.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Well said. Well said.
It's and then like, do you want a drink? And like Ted's got that cool like private detective thing of having like loads of glasses in a bottle of whiskey in his bottom drawer sort of stuff. Yeah. And Rebecca says, "Oh, she's just going to go and hang out at Elton John's house."
Oh, it's such a great line. Have you guys noticed that the offering of a drink has at this point become sort of a sort of symbolic in this show between her and Ted? Not just her and Ted, but like it happens quite often. If you really look at it, it happens all the time, whether it's water or booze or whatever.
It's an offering of friendship. I think it is quite a traditionally British thing of, because it's the unbreakable like rule of rounds. Well, it's the rounds thing. It's like, I trust you enough that I will get you a drink and you'll get me one back. It's a trust thing. But yeah, when like the first time Ted and Rebecca meet, it's very standoffish, and then at the end, like when Higgins comes back, they're all drinking cocktails in Rebecca's office. It is like you said, it is this thing of that is the symbol of friendship for them. It doesn't have to be booze, like it's cups of tea. I think it's later on when Roy goes round to Ted's flat and stuff. Like it's just a shorthand for like an olive branch of there we go.
That's fair. Yeah, I've picked up on that several times. The Elton John party is awesome because when she tells him who it is, and Beard's like, "Whoa," and Nate goes, "Holy shit!" I think "holy shit" is Nate's best curse word. I love it so much. And Ted says, "Hold me closer, Tiny Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen." I'm really good with that. Great throwaway joke. She says, "It's actually rather lovely. We just sing carols around Elton's piano, and hopefully Rachel Weisz and Daniel Craig will do their puppet show again." He says, "That sounds like 00 heaven to me." Higgins' turn kind of sounds tame in comparison. Not that it's not important, but it sounds tame when he talks about, they host an open house for players who don't have family in town. They do it every year. And we usually get 2. And he leaves it there, and you kind of feel bad. It's like, well, that's all that shows up is 2. But man, again, guys, that's planted. So, and I think it's said in such a way so you'll remember it.
Yeah.
Because later it's paid off.
Yeah. Well, it's just, but that's again, it's Higgins' thing of it's for the club. Like he's given his family's free time to make sure players are gonna have at least a memorable Christmas day, if nothing else. Yeah. And that's how much he loves the club, which makes all the stuff about him leaving and stuff all that more dramatic when you think about it in hindsight.
It does. It's the little things for Ted, man, that so many little things he's done for this club, the way he's inspired people, and oh man, it's freaking awesome. I'm getting off on another tangent, but yeah. He makes a Biggie Smalls joke and calls Higgins Higgy Smalls and tells him that this is the first Christmas the family's been away from each other. Once Henry wakes up in about an hour, he wants to open presents, spend all day together on FaceTime. Gonna be a lovely afternoon. And this is where Jamie comes in. Wishes everyone a Merry Christmas.
It's going to be a lovely Christmas in like 2 dimensions.
2 dimensions, yeah. Jamie comes in and he needs a present for Secret Santa because, of course, he's not ready. She goes, "Did you not buy a Secret Santa gift?" He says, "I didn't know I had to."
Didn't know I had to. The email said Secret Santa, so I didn't want to ruin the surprise.
And he's not confused. He's sure of himself. I didn't want to ruin the surprise, did I?
I've done a smart thing there. Like, I don't know why everyone else has done this. And it's like, oh, Jamie.
Did you catch Rebecca's reaction?
Everyone sort of gives like an exasperated look.
Rebecca's like, "Oh, Jamie." And she takes a drink.
It's like they're not even like thinking, "Oh, Jamie's a dickhead." Now they're just like, "Oh, sweet Jamie."
Sweet, innocent, poor, naive Jamie.
Yeah.
There isn't enough Jamie in this episode.
Ted pulls something. Yeah, no, I agree with you. There wasn't enough.
Someone's given him that as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's just re-gifting something back out. But then we get like this really good, like A-Team style montage of them wrapping it up for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Rebecca's like, no, puts the stickers on it, they give it him. And then we get, possibly the most Jamie sentence ever.
Oh my God. Yeah, Jamie takes it. He looks very impressed and he says, "God bless me, everyone." And Beard just goes, "Wow." Like, so good. Oh, I have to. We usually don't talk about the opening of the show because it's just the Mumford Sons music blaring. But this time that we get a claymation opening, and if you're a man or woman of a certain age, no matter what country you're in, if you know claymation, you immediately connect to this. So I immediately connected to the claymation opening. It's the only time I think that they ever changed the opening of the show.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's
to be very similar to like the Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer and. What's the other famous one?
There's several. There's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There's Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah. There's several done in that style, I think. Yeah.
But they're like, apparently they are like a staple part of like American traditions for Christmas, is that you watch these sort of shows every year. And
I do. I still do.
It's just, yeah. It's I always watch like the Christmas episodes of Bottom and stuff. Like it's just, and the Christmas episode. Oh, I can't watch Father Ted anymore. But yeah, it is just those things of, it's just tradition. But it is really good. And we also it's the same song, but it also, like you said, has ding dong dong jingle bells and like them tubular bell things that they put into Christmas songs now. And everyone's character is there, because normally, like in the intro, isn't it? It's just Ted sitting down,
just Ted,
and like the seats change and stuff. But everyone gets a little puppet with their name and stuff, and it's really like, oh, this is special. This is a special episode.
I love it. It's my favorite time of year. I hate saying that because it sounds so freaking cliche, but it really is. Really is. The next bit we get is we get to go Keeley's house. She's decorating her place. I've never seen a house this phenomenal in my life. Like I need this character to decorate my house. Did you guys catch how freaking amazing this house is? Like,
did you also pick up on the lamp near the door?
I did. Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. It's the leg lamp. Yeah, and I was like, I like that.
I did.
But she also had really nice tree ornaments.
She does,
well.
Yeah. The colors are popping.
Someone's been to Paper Chase, yeah.
The chocolate fountain that she's eating out of, and she just tastes it, and she's like, oh, and she goes back to it, which is awesome.
But yeah, it's sexy Christmas.
It is sexy. Ooh. Yeah.
I mean, not one to objectify women, but god damn, yeah.
When you preface a comment with not one to, but, and you're like, no, I don't think it's objectifying at all. I don't think that's bad at all.
Tremendous.
She looks, nah. It's working. It's working. As I would say, it's working. Yeah, she's decorating, and then the doorbell rings, and of course she disrobes, and you get to see the presentation, and it's quite lovely, if I can say. And then of course she answers the door, and it's Phoebe looking like an angry little elf.
She sat there with like a duffel coat on, and it's like, and it's like, okay.
And she just like stomps in, and followed by Roy, who we should note never sees her because he's carrying packages, so he never physically looks at her one time.
I love the way he goes.
I guess you didn't get my text.
Yeah, and he says my sister got called to surgery, so Phoebe has to spend sexy Christmas with us.
That when I asked last week about what Roy's sister does. Yeah, she is a surgeon.
There you go. And like Keeley's not upset at all by this.
She's like, okay, that's fine. And so she's like, well, we'll just do sexy Boxing Day. And he's like, I can't do Boxing Day. I've got a commentary thing. What about the day after? Well, we can't do that because I've got and it's like, what is it? Sexy December the 28th. That's something they decide.
The sexiest of all the days.
The sexiest day of all.
Yeah. But it's like, that's the sign of a good couple. They're like, okay, we were going to do this thing, but things have come up, right? We'll just work around it. That's just how life is sometimes. But then, Roy turns. He's brought all these bags with him and stuff, and he's like putting them under the leg lamp, which is bizarre. But I don't know. And then he just turns around and he's like, it's like the like the Mask sort of eyes on stalks.
It's just holy fucking shit, you look incredible. Yeah. It's a great little moment. These two have really come a long way. I love it. It makes me hate what comes later. Foreshadowing, but at the moment, everything's well. So we won't dwell on what may or may not happen in the future. I'm not spoiling anything. Stop.
Future-proof, yeah.
Right. We go to Higgins' house, and the Beach Boys are playing. We see a photo of Cindy Crawford. Did you guys catch the photo of Cindy Crawford?
I love the Cindy Crawford photo. Yeah.
It's like a little memorial right there. Poor little cat.
A tiny shrine to Cindy Crawford.
A tiny shrine. Higgins brings out a huge gift. It's clearly a surfboard. The family are cheering on the son to rip it, He takes it out. He's like visibly excited to get this surfboard. And Higgins tells him it's time to clean up. Guests arriving in an hour. Then the doorbell rings, and it's Sam. He apologizes for being early, but he's really got to use the restroom. Higgins shows him the spread on the table, and he says, well, to hold us off until dinner, we have mince pies, cheese and crackers, pigs in blankets, and mulled wine. Like, it's just like America.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Christmas is like the one time of year when everyone has more food in their house than they will ever eat.
It's true.
It's awful. But, they live in Richmond. Why does he want a surfboard? We're in the middle of London.
I was going to ask about that.
I didn't understand.
How far would he have to go?
He'd have to go well, you can go down like Southend, I guess, or Brighton, which is only like an hour on the train.
The Isle of Sheppey.
You could go to Sheppey. I don't think you can. My uncle used to live there, and I know that in the water around Sheppey is a sunk World War II ship that still has explosives on it that are active, so they can't. Yeah,
probably a lot of them around there, to be fair, because it's like, it's basically the pathway between England and France, isn't it?
But it's there's also a prison on it. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Zack Sabre Jr.'s from there,
and Zack Sabre Jr.'s from there as well. But
he got one good thing.
That's crazy.
He's bought him a surfboard. One of his other sons has got a saxophone. Like, Higgins has spent some cash, which is nice.
He's probably got a pay rise with like Rebecca hiring back. Probably part of the terms and conditions.
Well, we've made Rebecca great again. So as she's turned over a new leaf, maybe she's opened the purse strings just a bit more because no sense of being a Grinch now, right? So
she can see his worth.
But she did promote him to like head of management of thingy or whatever, didn't she? I don't think that came.
Operations,
I imagine that didn't come with a raise. That was just another thing to torment him with. And I think now, like you said, now I think she has
a sizable raise.
He would have took it though, wouldn't he, without the raise, just to keep on the books. I think she may have seen his worth, and they're not going to be like struggling for cash.
Yeah,
Higgins
generally director of football is like it's like below the chairman. Like just below the chairperson. So
like the second in command under Rebecca.
They're the person, like they're essentially the person who runs the club day to day. While Rebecca would do like kind of the sort of like
big
not
stuff.
PR, but she'd be like the face of it. But Higgins would be like the person getting his hands dirty and doing all the actual
paperwork,
the actual work for the team.
I do like when Higgins says, Sam, back home, what does Christmas make you think of? And he goes, with this smile, colonization.
Yeah.
Like with a smile on his face.
Just colonization. Yeah, I can see that.
It's like, again.
We had friends. It's just Sam being.
We get it. It's one of those moments when we get a joke followed by an immediate reaction / disarming moment. I love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Higgins' son stands up as well, and he goes, Sam Obasanya. He's like, fuck those thingies. And then Sam looks at Higgins, and Higgins goes, we're allowed one swear. Yeah. It's just really good. And what was it? We have friends there who celebrate Christmas, so we make jollof rice with goat. And he's like, oh. And then Sam goes, well, I put chicken in it. And he's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Which, I mean, to be fair, goat's really nice.
Goat's nice, yeah, man.
I've never tried it.
It's a nice meat, especially in like jollof, because it's like slowly marinated. It'd be nice but it's just, again, it's Sam going, not everyone's gonna like it. Everyone likes chicken. Yeah, it's adapting to the Western palate. But he's like, also, I do need to use your toilet.
Yeah. He's so polite. Besides Danny, you had to. He's like the most polite player.
He stands there for so long talking, and then he's like, "No, I really have to go," and it's just, oh, bless him.
So, while all this is great, Ted's situation is not so great because he's doing Christmas over FaceTime, which is it is what it is. Even if they were together still, he's on the job. He can't just be home at a moment's notice, right? But he opens up a mini dartboard that his son gave him, and he loves it. And it's Henry's turn. He opens up a drone, and he says, "Dad, you got me a drone." He says, "I know. How irresponsible is that of me, considering all the issues of privacy these days?" Which is nice. He tells him that Mrs. Claus is charged up last night, so he should be good to go. Henry wants to go try it out, and then Michelle gets the laptop, and you can tell the minute he sees her, he's very polite and friendly to her and everything. But like, you can sense the tinge of sadness that's still there, and you know they.
You come from both though, can't you? They're both very like cordial with one another, but you can tell it's like they're being like that because they know there's that underlying awkwardness between the two, and it's the first Christmas like actually apart.
Yeah, that's true.
As a divorced.
Yeah, sorry, that's what that's actually a bit
because,
elaborate.
But yeah, it is, and it is that thing of it's like, oh, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Oh, well, I've got to. It is just. It's kind of hard. Like? Yeah, it is that sort of thing of what time is it there? Oh, yeah. It's just it's polite and awkward, and it's one of those things where you never see Ted sort of lost for words, but he doesn't know what to say because what do you say? It's Christmas Day, like, and you're talking to your ex-wife while your son's off flying the drone around. Like, there's what is there to say? It's a really weird thing that I think it's the only time we ever see Ted at a sort of I'll go then.
Yeah,
because he loves his son, and I think he still cares about her as well. But he had that awful divorce. He had that horrible, and like he's on his own. Like he's not even got a beard.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because like it was a mutual thing at first, but you can tell he's like the one who's kind of got the worst of it.
Yeah, he's away from his son, his horrible son.
Yeah. I mean, at least the other child actors in the show were better than Henry.
And it may have been that it was mutual, but he didn't want this. She did. We knew that she kind of had to have this. He never wanted this. So, yeah, he's going to be the one hurting more, I think.
Yeah. And also, like, spending Christmas Day on your own is legitimately, like, the saddest you can ever be.
It sucks.
I did it for several years, and I was fine because I just drank, played Warcraft, and watched the Doctor Who special. But, like, if I was a normal person, I probably would have been quite upset.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just another day for me. But with Ted, and you can tell that Ted's a big thingy guy, like you. Like it's a big thing. It's we get everyone round and that sort of stuff. And it's him on his own in a strange land, in a flat, on his own. Like he's not even got his best mate with him because he's off at Stonehenge watching a load of beardy people wrap ivy around some rocks. Like I mean, it must be a horrible thing. Which is why he ends up drinking whiskey and watching It's a Wonderful Life, which is not a fun film to watch if you're drunk.
Oh, I'm sure it's. I mean, by itself, it can be tough. Yeah.
It's a great film, but
it is. Yeah.
It only gets because in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Because of the hills and valleys of this show, we go right back to something funny, which is the whole bit with Keeley, Roy, and Phoebe. And Phoebe's classmate, Bernard, bought her toothpaste and mouthwash. And Phoebe's like, because he told me my breath is rancid. And Roy says, right, where does Bernard live? And Keeley says,
immediately goes to violence. You're not going to go and beat up a 12-year-old. And Roy's
why
like,
not?
Why not?
Yeah. And she calls him a fucking knobhead. Did you catch that?
You're an adult.
Yeah.
Nobody can get away with calling him that.
I love the way when like Roy goes, I used to spend a room with smelly men. This isn't gonna smell bad. Phoebe breathes on him.
It's the thing of like so yeah she goes like Keeley goes,
They're both
"Oh, no,
retching.
it can't be that bad. Come on."
Yeah.
And she breathes it, and she sort of just goes, "Oh wow." And then Roy's like, "She feels bad enough." Like, and then she's like, "I really tried, sorry, but it's bad."
Yeah.
and then Roy does the like,
I
"I've
love
spent
the
20
Keeley's,
years
like,
in locker
retching
rooms
as
with
well.
men." She's like in the corner. "I promise you, I've smelled worse." And this is like probably one of the finest for me. Like just Roy Kent acting bits, because like Phoebe just breathes on him, and he just does this like this 40-second stare, and like you see his eye twitch, and he goes, "Oh my god, I think you might be dying."
So good. It's so good.
And like Phoebe's having a nightmare with this because she's a little girl. Like,
Yeah.
and
The pain in his voice as well. I was
it's
like,
just
I think you might be dying.
yeah, it's so good. I'd like to see if there was outtakes of that, because they must have been pissing themselves laughing.
Oh my god. Well, Keeley's trying to make her feel better, and she says, "This is not like I forgot to brush," because it goes like this. "This is not like I forgot to brush my teeth bad, or I ate onions bad." It's every time she speaks, you can hear Roy retching behind her. It's awesome. Oh my god. She says, "This is actually medically bad."
It's medically bad, and I was like, "Oh, you don't want that."
No.
Roy
yeah,
says, "We're gonna." He talks
get your
about the
coats
neighborhood.
on.
Yeah.
"Get your coats on." Why? Because we're going to go to my stupid posh neighborhood, and we're going to knock on doors until we find someone who can fix this. And if we don't within an hour, I'm going to give you £1,000.
Within 10 doors.
Well, yeah, I'll give you £1,000 each. And then he just gets up and marches off. And they're like, "Okay, fair enough." Like, yeah, it's very, very, it's a really fun scene, because again, it shows like they've got like this weird parental dynamic. Like, they're trying to nurture Phoebe and stuff, but again, like with Roy threatening to beat up a 12-year-old kid, like, and Keeley has to rein him in because it's still Roy at the end of the day. But it's just a really lovely scene.
Awesome. It's awesome. We go back to Higgins' house after this, and Sam asks the youngest son if Santa got him something good this year. He says, "It's okay. I know there's no Santa." Sam says, "Of course there's a Santa." He says, "There's no way he can deliver presents to everyone in the world in one night." He says, "But it's not the whole world in one night. It's the whole world split up into 24 different time zones. Santa's true power is not his speed, but his endurance."
Yep. Also, Sam's
Great
helping
line.
clean up. Did you notice?
He was.
He's got a bin bag and they're putting rubbish in it and stuff. Like, yeah, Sam's an ideal house guest. Yeah.
I was literally about to say Sam's like the best house guest.
Yeah.
He is.
He's pitching in. He knows he's arrived early and they're not ready for him. He's like, "Well, what can I do to help?"
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird things that you're just like,
Yeah.
they
You
didn't
some
have to
house
show that.
guests who come round, like Aaron, who he would have shredded it up in the corner and made a nest out of it.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sam, who cleans up after himself, and he's lovely and has a laugh with everybody.
It just shows how well he's been raised by his parents. And
It's
stuff.
true.
And
Yeah.
Again, it's just a little throwaway bit. They didn't have to show this. They could have had this conversation around the dinner table or whatever. But it's, again, just these things of just adding more layers to these already rich characters. It's really beautiful. And also him not wanting to break a small boy's heart and telling them, "No, Santa is real."
Yeah.
It's the character building that happens in this show.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
I think, like, when you look at kind of like the purity scale of it, Sam's like got to be like right near the end of the purest.
Oh yeah.
Like he's got the most purest intentions out of everybody, and he's like furthest paragon you can be.
Yeah. If everyone could be a bit more Sam, yeah,
Yeah, no
the
doubt.
world would be a better place.
We see Danny, Jan, and Richard show up with a woman who will come into play later. Danny says, talks to Higgins' wife and says, "My mother was very happy I wouldn't be alone on Christmas and insisted I bring a traditional Mexican poncha. If you want to be a little bit cheeky, you can put some tequila in it." She smells it and goes, "Danny, it already smells like it has tequila." And he says, "Yeah, this one is pre-cheeked."
It's pretty cheeky.
It's great.
Richard,
That's already 4, so he's already 2 above what his normal intake is going to be. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that fun thing. It really is. And like, you can see them going, "Well, this is great." Like, Higgins is so happy. The whole family are, because
They are.
they've got the team there as well. And it's again, just one of those really nice bits, because I think that isn't the cuts after this where other players like who aren't named just show up as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, hey, everyone's here.
Richard had brought a Montelar family tradition, foie gras champagne. Hopefully, I didn't mispronounce that. Foie gras, is that right?
Foie gras.
Foie gras. Ah, man, yeah. I had the actual spelling, and I kept thinking you should spell that the way it sounds so you don't mispronounce it, and I did not do that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Champagne and a fancy stinky cheese. Jan Moss says, Jan goes, I brought fried chicken. And he's happy. And Higgins goes, is that a Christmas tradition in Holland? No. He just leaves it at that. It's awesome.
I brought some fried chicken. I mean, I'd be happy.
It is in Japan.
It is. They have KFC, don't
they? There is
That's
quite
right.
a lot of cultural crossover with Holland and Japan.
Oh,
Really?
I did not know that.
So there was a guy who was on the Japanese national team it was about 10 years ago, and it was like this 6-foot white guy. Well, sorry, 6'4" white guy who's like just like stood next to all like these like Japanese fellas. But he was a Japanese native, but it was that his parents were Dutch and had migrated to Japan like when he was like 5 or something.
Wow.
All right.
So there's a lot. I think there's a lot of like business between Holland and Japan, and that's why there's like a lot of kind of back and forth between both nations
Didn't know
of
that.
like sort of emigration and stuff like that.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, I'd eat fried chicken at Christmas. It's
I
better
would.
than a
Yeah.
traditional Christmas dinner for me.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what you have on the evening buffet, mate.
No, you have leftovers on the evening buffet.
Oh, I don't.
Like all the horrible dry turkey that's left. And...
You get that. You get all the shitty party food, and you put that in the oven.
That's why you gravy the hell out of the turkey and get dry gravy the hell
We have. I think we make pizza Christmas Day normally. Make our own pizza.
I'm okay with that too.
Neither of us like Christmas dinners. I don't like roast dinners. Like
I've
know,
got a friend who does that. He's not really Christmassy, so him and his partner will do like they'll plan like a meal, like a really fancy meal that they'll make together on Christmas Day instead of like a Christmas dinner.
Yeah, it's just I like Christmas and all that. I just don't like Christmas dinners. I don't see why someone should have to spend the entire morning in the kitchen cooking when they could be opening presents and like enjoying the Christmas day of it.
Yeah. I leave so many episodes of this show hungry. I'm gonna do it again today. I swear to God. All the time. All the time.
I knew that as soon as we were thinking about Christmas dinner. I was like, yeah, that's. Love some pigs and blankets though.
Jay,
oh yeah.
Controversial Yorkshire pudding on a Christmas dinner. Yes or no? Yeah, obviously.
Well,
Yorkshire pudding on any dinner.
We live in a society.
Yeah,
We're not
that's
animals.
true. We're not animals.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's good.
Anyone who doesn't have Yorkshire pudding on a roast dinner needs to stop words themselves.
Needs it, yeah. Need the red shake.
They need to have a long look in the mirror and go, why haven't I?
Literally the nicest bit of any Sunday dinner is Yorkshire.
You know what a Yorkshire pudding is, Tom?
I can't say that I've heard it forever, but I don't know what's in it.
It's essentially pancake batter. Like I think you might call them Dutch babies in America. I've seen that in something. And it's pancake batter. You put it in an incredibly hot pan. You put it in the oven and it like crisps up. So it's basically like a big crispy pancake, technically.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. It's literally the nicest thing.
It's similar to like a dumpling as well in flavor.
Yeah.
In flavor, not in texture. In flavor,
it's
like quite doughy.
Yeah, but
it's got like a roast taste to it as well, which is.
But it's all crispy and fluffy, and it's the only thing I like about Sunday dinners is I will have that and like mashed potatoes, and that's me sorted.
Oh, see,
I'd be down for that for sure. For sure. We're going to have to do a food trade at some point. We've been threatening to do that.
I was gonna say, Tom, like we're threatening to do something in London at some point to go to the pub. We should get a Sunday roast while we're there.
Yeah,
just so Tom.
I'll chew through a Sunday roast. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely gonna have to
do a banging Sunday roast. To be fair,
definitely gonna have to eat after this show. So this next bit with Ted and Rebecca is great because she has come to him and he's watching It's a Wonderful Life. And if you notice, when Clarence jumps into the water off the bridge is the moment that Rebecca's outside his window because she's there to save him, just like Clarence was there to save George Bailey. It's freaking phenomenal.
It is one of those nice little bits of but also she spell out "Hello, Ted" in tinsel, which is a lovely little callback to "Hi, boss."
So what I really like about this is that she's like kind of bigged up what her Christmas day is going to be to hide the fact of what she's actually doing.
Is charitable and a nice thing.
Yeah, because it's like she feels like she's got to keep face that everyone thinks she's like going to be doing this big high society thing, and in actuality, she's doing something that's like amazing.
Shows she's got a soul. Yeah.
This is probably the best Christmas she's had since before Rupert.
And I think Ted is not to blame for it, but is to thank for it because
she says, doesn't she? She was gonna. She used to do it with Rupert every year. She was gonna do it last Christmas, but she didn't because she sat at home and just got drunk on her own.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I understand how hard the first Christmas is. That's why I come to get you."
Yeah, because he opens the window and she's written out like "Hi, Ted" in tinsel, and she's like, "Get down here," and he's like, "Okay," like he's still like. Even he's not in work. Like you can't boss me around. I'm not in work.
He literally said, "Okay, boss."
Yeah, he literally And they walk down the little ginnel that he lives on, and there's the street performers playing. What is it?
Last Christmas?
I think it is Last Christmas. Yeah,
which is okay because it means it's Christmas Day. They haven't been whammed.
Yeah, well, they've not been sent to Whamhalla. Yeah.
Anxiety's already getting me.
Don't worry about it. Just
he asked her if they're going to go to Elton John's party. He said, "We're not going to go to Elton John's party, are we? If so, I'm underdressed. I could go back in and pop on this Donald Duck suit I've been bringing with me everywhere." And she, for a moment, she goes, "You look perfect. Don't worry." And it's that little moment where all the wackadoodles say, "See, they should have been together." All those people are going, "Yeah, they are." And I'm like, I think he felt that because she meant it. This wasn't a nicety to say to someone because you're being courteous. She meant it because, like, he must be a vision to her. Yeah.
Well, they knew what they were going to go and do. If he puts a Donald Duck costume on and then they go and dropping presents off, it would look weird as fuck. Like, but he's just in his clothes. Like it's
what I mean is when she says you look perfect, I think people could take that to mean he's dead sexy. She's attracted to him. No. But like when she says you look perfect, I think that's a compliment aside from the whole Donald Duck thing that he took. Like when she says things now, she means them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because her heart's back.
I don't think it's sexual in any way.
No, not at all. No.
I think it's just, you look good, man. Like you look fine for what we're about to go and do.
One thing as well that's kind of just like dawned on me is obviously her like rescuing Ted from being alone at Christmas.
Yeah,
is like her way of repaying the favor for him being there for when she was like going through the really hard part of like Rupert leaving her.
Yes.
Yeah,
because he was like
and rubbing it in her face.
Yeah. Because Ted was basically trying to be that supportive friend, and that's her way of kind of like going, "All right, my friend needs me."
And
it's kind of like backs up that it's like platonic.
Yeah, and like Tom said as well, I know how hard the first Christmas is. She knows what he's going through because she's literally been through it. And what better way to show your friend that you're there for them than by going, "Come on, we're going to go and do something incredibly awesome for some underprivileged kids." Because Ted, Ted was 100% into that. But if she'd have told him, like, it would have ruined the surprise.
Yeah, and we get to see buskers again. Do we know who these folks are? Because I didn't bother looking that up. Is this anybody that we should know?
I don't think they're...
I doubt
Great voices, by the way. Great voices. They sound phenomenal. Because we see them later on in the episode. Because he says, "I love the buskers y'all get over here. Always reminds me of that movie Once. You ever see that?" She says, "Great film." He says, "Yeah, I loved Once so much I saw it twice." He puts some change in the hat, and Rebecca puts a handful of bills in there. He says, "That's what I get for taking a tinkle next to John Holmes."
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. Again, it's just like Rebecca's got money. She doesn't,
Oh, she's
and
back.
like they kind of stop playing. I think does one of them go shit or something like that? When she throws all the money in.
Dude, we've never really seen. I mean, we're in season 2 now, so we saw her at the end of season 1. But this is the actual character. What we saw before was a character grieving and in pain and dying inside. And this is the real person here.
This is awesome. Rebecca Great again.
Yeah, for sure. They come up on her car and Ted says, "You drove yourself. It's a Christmas miracle." Mr. Man, the old man, walks by and says, "Merry Christmas, wanker." And Ted says, "Right back at you, sir." And he has to flip him off. Like he makes a point to snap that hand in place.
I love the fact Rebecca's like ready to like jump to his defense. He's like, "No, it's a running joke we've got.
It's fine." Yeah.
It's an inside joke, mostly inside of him. Roy, Keeley, and Phoebe go to a nice house, and a kid answers the door. He says, "Are you going to sing?" And they're looking for a dentist, of course. The kid's parents are attorneys, so they move on. And I think, doesn't every door recognize Roy?
Yeah.
Maybe one or two doesn't. There's a little girl that shakes her head no.
Is this the little kid who
he goes Roy Ken?
We had the little chat.
Yeah. And he's they're lawyers.
I love this scene.
And we get like Roy doing like a moment. Because they're like, no, we've this is the thing, and he's like, "Oh, does he tell the story about when he pooped his pants?"
He tells her a story where he shit himself on the bus because he had too much too much milkshake or ice cream, and then Keeley goes, "Tell the full story."
Tell the full story. 3 weeks ago, and then the little lad goes, "I sometimes poo my pants as well," and then Roy just stands up and goes, "Well, let's just both try and put a stop to that." Then, shall we?
Awesome.
Again, it shows like Roy's like really good with like kids because he's so used to dealing with footballers.
Yeah,
like that's the whole like dynamic of why he's like so good at them.
But it's just one of those things. Because, well, maybe we should both stop doing that then. And the kid's like, "Okay."
That's great.
And then he just walks off, and Keeley's like, "Okay, thanks, bye, happy Christmas," and like has to cover for him as he just stomps off to knock on the next door.
Doesn't he say as well, "I can if you can," or something
like
that?
If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Let's try and do that. It's Again, it's just these weird bits of Roy becoming more and more human.
It's true. The next bit is about at Higgins' house. I had all kind of sentimentality over this bit with the Nerf guns because when my kid was growing up, it became a phase. We bought him so many Nerf guns, and we would do this bit where he wanted to go through the house and search for zombies. So we each had a Nerf gun loaded up, and we would be like going around corners of doors and like playfully kicking the door open, but not trying to break it off the hinges, then firing Nerf darts in there. And then we'd be out in the cul-de-sac, and the shadow of the sun would be behind us. You could see our silhouettes on the ground with like rifles. And I'm like, it feels like I'm in The Walking Dead because I got like trees behind me and woods, and anyway, I had a nice little sentimental moment there. But this scene is awesome
as well. It's just it's just things like Jay just said, like they are just children, even though they are grown men.
It's true.
Like, is it Rojas and
it's Zorro and Zorro
and Zorro? Yeah, and they both like take cover behind the sofa, and they're like, tell my wife I love her, and it's just like this incredibly ridiculous end of a war film sort of.
Tell my incredibly beautiful wife I love her.
No, I'm not going to do that because you're going to go and kiss her and then set me up with her identical twin sister. And
then right as they get up, there's the
youngest kid. They're both like just prepared to do like a Blackadder the Fourth over the top of the couch.
Yeah.
And then the youngest lad just walks by with this like absolute
like a minigun, isn't it?
Gun. Yeah. It's just like that one from Predator and just mows them down.
Yeah.
This is the first time we really see Danny and Zorro's kind of like little back and forth. They have every now and again, isn't it, as well?
Oh, shit, yeah, I didn't
Because
even
like
think of that.
you get it more, don't you? After this,
Yeah,
after that, like
I
that
forgot
scene.
all about that. But again,
It's
it's
true.
just it's just a weird little scene. But they're like so committed to the bit of playing with these kids on Christmas Day, even though they're like ex-Premiership footballers who,
Mm.
you know, could be in a hotel eating a swanky meal, but they're in like a 4-bedroom terraced house in London.
Yeah.
Mucking about with Nerf guns. It just goes to show that how they have become this weird family in a way.
They have. Yeah. They have. This is where the date comes into play, kids, because Richard is playing a football game with Higgins' kid, one of his many kids, and on the gaming system, and one of the other kids is watching his date eating. And he's just frozen as she's eating.
I mean, I would be if I was sat in that.
I would be too.
Would you like a hot dog?
Yeah, no kidding. He says, Sam asks him, why'd you bring a date to the party? And he says that the French believe having a beautiful woman around is a good thing. Jan says, that was not true with the Helter Skelter murders.
Again?
And
like
they
a
both
really
just stop.
Dark and deep cut. And I was like, okay, it's a Christmas episode. And we're referencing Charlie Manson's murder of the Tate LaBianca murders. Okay, fair enough.
My goodness.
But
This
it's
is
just that
great.
kid sitting there watching her eat. And he's just like, it's just, yeah, it's just, again, they're sitting there playing FIFA, like in someone else's
Higgins'
house.
family's just fantastic, aren't they?
Yes.
They're such
It's a shame we
underrated
don't get
characters.
more of them.
Yeah.
Because, the Mrs. Higgins as well. God bless the actress, because she's
brilliant.
tremendous. And she's just happy. She's just happy that people are here. And like they've got now about 9 people in their house, 9 footballers, because all the people
more
have been
coming
showing
in
up all this time, all the way through this, more and more are showing up, and it's just, and she's just like, we'll just roll with it. It's fine.
It's all the foreign ones, isn't it? It's all the ones that like obviously can't be home for Christmas.
Yes. But again, from what I'm saying,
which is why you don't see like the likes of like Isaac, Colin, and Jamie. Which, as I say, it's a shame you don't see more of them in this episode. But at the same time, it allows like some of the sort of more tertiary characters to like get time to
out a bit. Yeah. But also, it's just that thing of Higgins going, we normally get 2. All of them are here.
Yeah. This is Julie Higgins, portrayed by Mary Roscoe, is the actress's name. So, yeah.
She's tremendous, yes.
She is.
Yeah.
She's really good. And so we get to the bit with Ted and Rebecca going door to door delivering presents. This is great. A kid answers and says, Mom, 2 white people are at the door and they're smiling, which is like, I'd be scared, kid, run, because you never know what's going to happen.
It's just one of those, like, they've come to do a nice thing and the kid's like, no.
No, thank you.
No, just shut that door. Yeah.
And the story's awesome.
But again,
show off smiling at your door. You don't want that.
No. But yeah, like Rebecca she's like, oh, we're sorry. Like Santa put the presents on the wrong sleigh and stuff. And she's like, but we're here to deliver them now. We apologize. And she pulls out this girl's letter that she wrote to Santa. And I'm like, that's tremendous. Like,
it is.
I know it's obviously some sort of charity thing or whatever, but Rebecca she's probably got someone to go out and buy all this stuff and label them and put them in bags for each person or whatever, but that she gives a shit enough to do it. Like it's a really weird and beautiful thing. And then she throws it to Ted, and Ted just like, yeah, Rudolph's nose was too bright and I temporarily went blind. And I'm like, Ted, stop talking. Like,
I was disoriented and I put the bag on the wrong sled.
Yes, but this has been around the world like 4 times. Like, does that smell like the Himalayas to you?
Yeah. I love the way the kid smells. Go, yeah.
Am I getting notes of Beijing? And they're like, yeah.
You can't help but get sucked into Ted's act outs. It's just one of those things.
Everybody plays along. Even strange children that they don't know play along.
In fact, 2 minutes ago we're going to slam the door on him and phone the police? Like, but it's just like, yeah, Ted's infectious sort of just good nature of it.
Well,
And,
it would.
No, it's then like, and then the kid goes off, and the mum's like, "Thank you so much," and they shut the door, and like
Oh.
Ted sees what she is. Like, this is part of that Rebecca. This is. I think he he knows she's a good person, but this is like above and beyond.
Mm. Yeah, and it's one of those moments that, man, if you don't watch yourself, you'll get emotional. I mean, this moment does it too, because like. And you made the comment about having someone do the shopping. I'll be honest with you. I could picture this character in the stores herself with these lists. Maybe with someone helping her with, whatever.
Just
but
show
like,
up at Hamley's or whatever and be like, I need all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me everything in the shelf. I'll take it. Yeah. What's a holiday episode, kids, without a montage? We get the montage of the three of Roy and Phoebe and Keeley going door to door. And then Ted and Rebecca going door to door. We get the montage of Higgins' house. And then finally they come to the final house. Has Roy, Phoebe, and Keeley. It's house number 10. If this isn't a dentist, Keeley and Phoebe get £1,000 each. And Phoebe says, that's like a month's worth in the swear jar, which is great.
So that kid's doing really well for pocket money as well. She's getting at least $1,000 a month for hanging out with Roy. Right?
And then when Roy says he has to pop it. When Roy says he has to pop his knee back into place, you see those two turn because they're ready. They've heard this happen before.
He just punches his knee.
Yeah. But this time, they've reached the dentist. It's a Christmas miracle, right? 10 times the charm. So they take her in and she tells Phoebe, congratulations, that's some spectacularly bad breath. She goes, thank you. She's all happy about it. She says, have you been under any unusual stress lately? Have you been smoking? Any new medications? And then we get to the bottom of it. It's new antihistamines that she's been prescribed. They have a cat, and she's allergic. The cat is Dolphine. And she goes, we rescued her, but I like to think that she rescued us. That's a great line. Oh, my God.
I will say, all this as well is filmed from, like, one side, so you think it's just someone in their house. Yes. It's all filmed in someone's front room, and it's a really good payoff in a second. But it's one of those things why I really like Phoebe, because she's like, yeah, I think she rescued us. And she's like, oh. And Keeley's like, no. And Roy's just like, we can just get rid of the cat then.
Yeah.
You only had her a month.
We'll get you a new one. It's
Phoebe says,
my dad's attitude to stuff. Yeah.
Phoebe says, but we're soulmates, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Keeley assures her she won't have to give the cat up because that would be an insane thing for your uncle, who loves you and is not a monster, to suggest.
I was about to say, I love how like Keeley's like reaction to Roy is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Roy?
Roy's a problem solver.
Yeah,
fair enough. He is. It's true. Oh my God. Yeah. What's wrong? Allergies? Get rid of the cat. Problem solved.
Oh yeah, it's my dad's attitude to everything.
It's just he sees everything in like black and white, doesn't he? Yeah. He doesn't see anything in any other way. It's just like, all right, well, you're allergic to the cat. We need to get rid of the cat.
She asked the doc if there's something else that she can suggest, and then we see the dining room full of people at a big table waiting.
Full dining room, and that flipping lad is there again. And I'm like,
Tommy.
Ussy.
It's Tommy.
Is he called Tommy? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "Can I get an Ussy?"
Yo.
I think I hate this person more than I hate Ted's son. Like, I hate.
He's always ready. It's like, yo. He's always ready.
And he's like, okay, yeah. And he's like, no, not with you. With Keeley. She was a formulative person in my teenage years. And Roy's like, ugh. And she's like, why? Keeley's like, why don't we all take one around the tree together? And Roy's just seething.
Roy's like literally ready to murder him.
Yeah, that's so much better. It's just like through gritted teeth.
Yeah, he says, not with you. I mean, you're a legend at Chelsea, but shit at Richmond. Like,
yeah, as well. But he is kind of like, he's always been like the straight talking, because I think when he spoke to Jamie in the hairdressers, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If he is just one of those horrible people nowadays that just like have no filter of social conscience. It's just like, I'm gonna say it as I find it, and think that that's a good way to live your life. Apparently,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no filter at all. So evidently, they get a prescription for Phoebe and her bad breath, and in the midst of this, we see Higgins' house, and they have connected all these tables together, including the surfboard and the pool table, so everyone has a place. I felt this moment. If you have ever been a part of a family, whether it's 4 of you or 12 of you, you feel this moment of, all right, you sit there and you say, kids, you want to sit over there and we'll,
everyone's on different height chairs. Like,
yeah,
it's that thing of we've had to get the emergency chairs out of the shed.
One
Like,
of them's definitely a wallpaper table.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Like, someone sat on an ottoman. They've got like the table that the telephone sits on in the hall, like, because they're old. Like, it is just this beautiful thing of, but instead of just like doing it on smaller tables, it's got to be one big long table because it's Christmas.
yes.
Like, yeah,
Everybody's got to be together. Yeah, everybody's got to be together. I felt that moment. There's there's been so many things that the three of us have talked about where I'll go, what? Or you two guys will go, what? But stuff like this is universal. The idea of family and Christmas and let's come together and be happy and forget the nonsense for a day and just be together. I love it. I'm a sucker for this stuff, man. So they do get the prescription and they go to this pharmacy, which you can tell the owner's trying to leave.
Oh,
And,
no, he's
wearing like his pajamas and everything.
he's knocked
Yes.
him out of bed. The dentist
right.
has literally gone, 3 doors down, Thingy's a pharmacist. And Roy's gone, right, come on, 100 quid. I need this filling now. Like,
Great.
and he's like, oh, okay, fair enough. And gone down. And they're like, okay, now that's that solved. And
It's
then
awesome.
It's like, what was it? What else do we need to do? Because they end up buying like markers and poster board off him.
They
as
go
well.
to the kid's house, don't they?
No, but
Yeah,
I
and
think like Phoebe's like, Phoebe and Keeley are like, we need to like, it's Christmas, we need to make this right. Or there's just something weird that happens.
So what happens is that Keeley says, doesn't this feel better to solve the problem rather than go beat up a little kid? And Roy is obviously mulling this over as if he's considering,
I could
and
do
then
both.
he says,
I could still
he
do
asks
that.
the store owner, for the poster board and the markers, because he's got an idea. I think Roy's the one with the idea.
For another 100 quid, and the guy's
Yep.
like, fine, goes back in.
And we go back to Ted and Rebecca, who are wrapping up their activities for the evening. And Ted says, how long have you been doing this? And Joe, this is what you referenced earlier. She says, for years, but then Rupert, and then it trails off. And she says, I should have done it last year, but I just sat by myself instead, drinking and plotting horrible things. Ted goes, oh yeah, like what? And they just let that go, and she smiles at him. And she says, look, I know all too well how stunningly shitty the first Christmas after you get divorced can be. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. He says, well, I am now, a lot better than I would have been if I just drank whiskey all day and watched It's a Wonderful Life on repeat. That could have gone dark.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh. They talk about Elton John's party, and he asks her if she's thinking twice. You're willing to miss a puppet show by Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz? Because that sounds like a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. They are incredible, but all I really wanted to see this two do together is fuck, which is a great line. Holy crap. Oh, man. He says, do you have any other ideas? And offers to drive. And he's like, I'll drive. And she's like, Ted Will's on the other side. He goes,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. I'm the one with the accent here, which is good. Good line. This is the bit where Roy and crew show up at the kid's house. There's a couple things I noted during the course of the episode. Number one, it's awesome. But number two, kids in England answer the door a lot. A lot.
Did you, again, Jay, this might be a thing that, but yeah, if you were the youngest, you went and answered the door because you were the slave of the house, basically.
You're playing with me right now, right?
No, you'd always go and answer the door.
Oh, wow. I was messing about. I didn't know you were being serious.
No.
Not because I was the slave of the house. Me and my brother.
No, I don't mean like that. But it was like the kids always answered
yeah.
the door because your parents were doing something and I'll go
Yeah.
and answer it, and it'd be like, Mom, it's the man from the gas board. Like, yeah.
I
Yeah,
genuinely had no idea.
We'd be more excited to like see who's at the door.
Like
Kinda
a
like
dog.
a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out my brain.
Same brain. Yeah, we'd be more excited to answer the door than our parents, who's like, oh God, who's this?
It probably isn't like that now. I don't know, but
No.
also he's in an incredibly rich area of London, so I'm guessing they're not going to get like scallies knocking on the door trying to defraud an old lady out of gas payments or all the horrible stuff you get now.
See, this is why we would never have kids answering the door in this country, because we would be immediately suspect. Who's at the door? You just automatically think it's going to be trouble or someone trying to hurt you. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Simpler.
That's
times.
where I live.
No. I don't know whether it happens now, but
I wouldn't have my kids answer the door either if I had any. Like,
no.
No.
I mean, I hate answering the door as a grown-up because I'm like, I don't know who's there. The thing is, like, my door has like a glass panel that's frosted on the thing and a peephole. But if I go to look at the people, they can clearly see me through the frosting. So the peephole is irrelevant at this point. So I perfected like a technique of peeking out of the curtain a bit and then going, oh, it's someone in a high-vis bib. They're going to try and make me sign up for like autistic dolphins or something. And you can go away. Yeah. As a child, you would answer the door a lot.
Again, I did not know that. I really didn't know that. That's interesting.
Christmas Day as well, you would probably have aunties and uncles and stuff visiting. So your parents would be doing stuff, putting out like cold cuts and like stuff on the side, and you'd be like, go and get the door. And you'd be like, oh, it's Uncle Jeff, and you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. But yeah, he opens it, and it is, what's he called, the lad?
Bernard.
Oh, Bernard. Mm-hmm. And we just get this really good Love Actually rip-off thing.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible film, but this is a good homage to it.
That's the cutest little boy I've ever seen. He's great. Like, I just can't envision that little boy being a little jerk. He looks so genuinely embarrassed and ashamed of himself. Do you know what I mean? It's awesome.
Boy can glare in a hole through.
Well, that's fair. And one of those signs, she says, however, unless you make thoughtful amends, you will stink forever, and you'll have to deal with him, with the arrow pointing to Roy, who growls at him.
Roy growls at him, yeah.
And then the next sign says, and her, and Keeley goes, I'm so sorry. Like she's apologizing. Oh my God. And then she forgives him. And again, she's the cutest thing ever. And he apologizes. So all is right in the world. I love this. And then we wrap up the episode back at Higgins' house. He proposes a toast. To my lovely wife, Julie, my sons, to you and all your families back in Lagos, Guadalajara, Groningen, Cordon, Montreal, Benin City, Harare, I think, Kingston, and Santa Cruz de la Sierra. He did that very well, much better than I did. So they're all happy.
Which is apparently where all of those actors are from as well, which is a nice little wink.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
But it's just I think of because it cuts to them all as he mentions the city, and it's just like, again, it's blending that reality and fiction thing.
That's true.
But, and it's what's the line he says? It's like, what is it?
I know you would have preferred to be with them, but it was an honor to have you here with us. To the family you're born with.
To the family, go on.
To the family you're born with and the family you make along the way. If that don't make you cry, nothing will.
And it is just like, I think of like, this cements them as like, a weird family. I know it's people that you work with, but
yeah.
Well, and most importantly, to Richmond.
Yeah. And then go ahead.
It also kind of like, this is like what kind of cements Higgins as like the heart and soul of the club.
Mm.
Like that, he is that speech. Like that's it. Like he loves the club. He's like a servant to the club, and he'll do anything for it.
Well, like I said, we don't know how long he was doing this for the 1 and 2 people that would have showed up.
Yeah,
it is that thing. But you can guarantee that they would have always had a great time.
Oh yeah, Well, a lot of football clubs, they'll have like someone who's like kind of there to, kind of like a minder, I guess, where they're there to sort of like help people who've moved to the country integrate into that culture a little bit easier.
Mm.
But it's never like that personal. It's usually like, oh yeah, like you can stay in my house while you like get yourself on your feet. But it's not like a halfway house, but kind of like a pit stop, just somewhere to kind of ingratiate themselves into like the sort of like the city where they've moved to. But then they're on their own, and they'll obviously like form bonds with teammates and stuff like that. But it's not like, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing that's like this, which is what makes it so important.
Yeah, it is that thing, like you said, of just, if this doesn't make you cry, then you have no soul.
Yeah, you have no soul. Ted shows up with the buskers from earlier and Rebecca, and they're singing because Rebecca can wail.
Yeah,
Hannah Waddingham is a freaking queen. I'm telling you, she's great.
Yeah.
And Higgins pulls a double bass outside with him, and the team all come out. My note here is they're all singing together, and damn, I love this show. So,
it's Christmas, baby, please come home.
And Higgins' youngest son, the one that Sam talked to about Santa, looks up, and there's Santa.
Oh no, I was going to say the one who's got the saxophone comes out and has a wail on that as well.
That's
so
true. I forgot about that.
Higgins is trying to build his own sort of Jazz Hansen.
Yeah. Well, the one that's been staring at like the date all the time starts dancing with us, isn't he, as well?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
he's living his best life. And also, Ted gets a bit on his own. He starts doing his deep singing voice as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah,
kids.
And then we look up. The kid looks up, and we see Santa's sleigh pull away. And at that point, I was like, "What's going on here?" Sorry.
But, don't let it take you out of it. It's Christmas.
No. It was just one of those things. It's like, it's Christmas. Like, maybe that kid saw that. Maybe that is the spirit of Christmas. That he's like, it is just, it's a Christmas episode. Like, if it doesn't end with Santa pulling away, then, but
what are we doing?
And there's a fake snow machine as well, which I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because it always has to snow at the right moment in the Christmas movies. So
even though this was apparently shown in what you said, August.
That's when it. Yeah, it was shown in August. Yeah, that's a good call.
Which is a weird.
Well, that's the thing with like streaming services, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like oh shit, what's the other show that's on Apple TV? Mythic Quest.
Yes.
Their Christmas special was like May this year, and it was like, oh,
wow.
I don't really want to be watching a Christmas episode of a show.
If you've ever collected comic books, you know that like you'll buy in August and it'll be dated January of the next year. Like it was always dated months ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like you can watch this one. I think it's probably going to go into the Christmas rotation of episodes of stuff that we watch, because it is just one of those genuinely heartwarming, great Christmas episodes. It doesn't further anything in the plot along whatsoever. But
well, you say that, but there are little things that are kind of dropped in. Like, as I say, the Danny and Zorro friendship.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But there is the little mentions to sort of Sam and that, and obviously like the kind of development of Ted and Rebecca, kind of like helping each other heal.
All right, yeah, but like compared to
not a major,
compared to a standard episode where it is a minefield of stuff that you be wary of stepping on for fear of what will explode underneath your feet. This is a very light episode in that respect, and it is, like I said, it is just one of those. It filled me with Christmas cheer, because then everyone ends up happy singing in the street. If it was my street, I'd be furious. I'm like, I'm trying to watch Doctor Who. Can you not?
But see,
then I'll be like-
while you're upset, they're living their Christmas movie, and you're in your house like, this sucks.
Oh, it's not that. It's like where Higgins lives is like everyone comes out and they're all joining in, and I was like, in Britain that would not happen.
Right, of course.
People would be
TV.
angry. The police would have been phoned at some point.
The closest I've had for that was it snowed one year on Christmas Day, but like really heavy snow. And we all like drunkenly went out in the street and had the snowball fight.
Yeah.
And there was this like one guy who like was like trying to he was like a neighbor's boyfriend, and he was like, if any of those snowballs hit me, there'll be beef. And us all being drunk went, but it's Christmas, we're eating turkey. And he just got really upset and walked back into the house.
Mate, like snow is one of those really good levelers of everyone. Like you can't be sad in snow, especially in Britain, because we get it so infrequently that when it happens, it feels like a special thing.
Yeah.
I remember leaving
really
the
infrequent.
I remember leaving the club opposite my house when I used to live around the corner, and we'd been in there, and we left, and there was like this fresh, like yay deep blanket of snow, and someone was stopping with us, and his missus was at my house talking to Harvey, and he'd come drinking with us, and he came back hammered and was just throwing snowballs around the front room, and I was like, I'm fine with this. Like that's tomorrow's problem. Like snow just makes British people do daft stuff, I think.
Oh, well, it does it here in this country as well. So, well, kids, there you have it. There's episode 4. And speaking of the time of year which things come out, if we've timed this right, guess what we're close to? Hey.
It should be around end of November, start of December, right?
Yes. So, again, if you're joining us for season 2, you know that we did season 1. We did a wrap-up episode for season 1, and then we took a little bit of a break in between season 1 and season 2. And we took that break to promote the living devil out of the season 1 episodes again. So we re-promoted like crazy, shared them on all the channels we could possibly share them on, all the socials and all the episodes and all that good stuff. Then we came back with season 2, which you're now enjoying. And again, with the timing correctly, this is pretty darn close to Christmas. So there you go. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. So we're here for you.
This is not like we've just cobbled this together. Like
no.
It's like in football when they take an international break, which that break's actually coincided with, weirdly. Now I think about it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, again, we started this show, and I think, Jay, I may have asked you specifically, how do we time this to coincide with football? Yeah. So we got it. We were on point. So
we've done it.
Yes, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So I think we got our takeaways out of the way. Yes, everybody good?
Yeah, man. It's just one of those delightfully heartwarming episodes.
Yeah. It is. It's great. I thoroughly enjoy this one. Kids, we hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks again for tuning in. As we said in the beginning, follow all of our socials. Follow the show everywhere you can. Share us everywhere you can. Let all your friends and family and loved ones know about us too. As you're gathering around the table, you know, you could put on Christmas music, or you could just put on Two Nations Under Ted. This episode in particular. I mean, why not, man?
Yeah.
Hey, we could become a Christmas tradition.
Why not watch the episode, listen to this episode, and then watch the episode again?
Yeah.
To see what we pointed out.
We're going to do the a cappella version of Ave Maria. We've all been practicing, yeah?
I didn't sign up for that.
You're going to do the bass part. I'll do the soprano, and you're like the mezzo soprano, Tom, I believe, yeah? Because you've got quite a high voice.
Who, me? Me?
Yeah. Your
I've been told that.
Lovely.
I've been told that the more excited I get, the higher pitched I get. Whether that's like excitement or anger or joy or whatever. And once you know that, you'll hear yourself and you go, "Oh God, they're right. I do that all the time."
I should stop talking at that point. Yes.
They know.
They know. They figured me out.
They found my one weakness.
Oh my goodness. Well, there you have it, kids. Thanks again for watching and listening. Be sure to check out episode 5 coming your way real soon. Thanks again, as always, for being there. And hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate it or don't celebrate it. Hope you have a great one. Thanks again for watching and for listening. And we'll see you next time. For Jay and Joe, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.